One bada bing bang, boom boom. Good day to you, sir, woman, person, human, alien being. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, back with another podcast, man. Today, Rashim, a lovely, lovely human with a even lovelier accent. She's a director. Well, I've known her for quite a few years now because she used to do some styling for some of the videos that I was working on back in the day. And yeah, she was really great at it. And then she sort of moved on to art direction and art direction, and she's doing really well. And I've always just had great conversations with her. You know, we've never really spent much time outside of work. So it was just nice to catch up and just I mean, she's had some difficult times in the last 6 months or so. She managed to get all types of health complications, which we talk about in a bit. But yeah, I mean, we do end up chatting about the whole creative industry a bit, but we actually spend most of the time just chit-chatting about social issues and things like that. Sort of the conversation took a mind of its own, really. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. I hope it brightens up your day a little bit. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all the things, comment. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. You know, let's keep the ball moving. Let's keep the domino falling. I don't know. Is that an expression? I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoy this one. You ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome, Rashim.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you.
I know.
We haven't seen each other in a while, properly.
We only see each other when it comes to work.
Yeah.
We're too busy.
I know, yeah.
It's annoying.
And we've...
It's usually me, though.
Well, I mean, we chatted a bit before we started the podcast, but you've been through some big changes in the last 6 months of your life. Some sort of near-death experiences, and how you were saying it's not the first one.
No, I've had multiple. I honestly feel like someone's trying to kill me off. Like, I'm like, okay, I get the hint, guys. I'm sticking around, but can we let off for a little bit? Could someone just give me a break?
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously, though.
Like
seriously.
Yeah.
I'm working hard and I'm being nice to people, so I don't know what more I could do.
The karma is not. It's not in your way. It's not. Yeah, something's not the balance. The equilibrium.
There is no balance.
Yeah, the equilibrium is really not. It's not in your favor. I don't know what is happening.
No.
But hey, you're still alive. You're still with us.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I've had, so to explain a little bit, I've had I've had like near-death experiences which have been totally out of my control. Like, I got airlifted from the Atlantic Ocean when I was younger. I've had, you know, survived a hurricane in Mexico, literally like the midst of it. It usually happens when I'm on holiday and trying to relax as well. And then when I came back from Miami, I had a motorcycle crash. And then recently, as I was heading to I know this is what I mean. It's like one thing after another. As I was going to Barcelona, as I was traveling from Barcelona to Malaga in Spain, I ended up contracting sepsis. So definitely nearly died on that one. But it's been multiple instances in my life where things like that have happened. So I've kind of just developed this sort of personality, which if you ask my therapist probably isn't the best thing, but like laugh it off and get up and get on with it. Because if I'm gonna just sit here and be upset about things that have happened to me, then I'm a big believer in manifestation. That means that it's going to happen to me again. Whereas if I kind of flip my mindset on how I'm looking at the situation and kind of see even like the latest one, okay, that made me slow down and I was not slowing down. So it's about taking like more positive spin from things, because with my personal life and my personal experiences, if I took those negative things as negative things, I probably wouldn't be around right now. I would be long gone. So yeah, you've got to try and take the best of things that you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it and I mean I did ask you this before, but you sort of you didn't quite answer it, but it was just about how do you think it sort of like shifted your perspective on life? Because obviously, I mean, yeah, the previous experiences like the hurricane and being airlifted and the motorcycle crash, they're sort of like, I guess they're sort of like instantaneous things. They sort of just happen, and
They're
once
like
they happen,
blips in the timeline.
Yeah. But then like with this one, it's a way more of a longer.
Yeah, it's more of a long term thing. So I have to adjust like how I'm thinking. And I was saying to you before, like the main thing that I've personally struggled with, like based on the attitude that I have developed from these kind of experiences happening to me, has always been get up and go. But at the same time, you've got to learn to be kind to yourself in the get up and go. Because if you just try and go hell for leather, for example, at the minute, my body's not physically like capable of doing the things that I would have been physically capable of doing like 6 months ago, maybe even less. And so I have to, you know, as a 25-year-old young woman who does creative direction, who also not like your standard typical director shows people what exactly she wants to do. I'm not able to do that at the minute. So it's difficult, and it means that I have to really keep a check on my mental health more than anything. The physicalness I can deal with. It's the impact of that on my mental health. For example, just feeling lethargic and feeling tired, that can very quickly and easily, for someone like myself and the sensibilities that I have, turn into you're not doing enough. When in essence, I actually need to be really kind to myself and be like, actually, anyone else in this position wouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah.
They would be on bed rest for whatever period of time. That's not conducive to my personality. So I'm not going to do that. But it's about, I've had like a kind of mental health shift. I've always been an advocate of mental health, but maybe I haven't necessarily applied those things to myself. I'm so busy making sure that everyone else is okay and their mental health is okay, and that's part of my job role, to make sure that everyone's doing all right, that I forget about me. So I've had a shift in that way, and started to be a little bit more selfish. And when like clients are pissing me off and shit, being like, sorry, can't have me then, I'm not going to work for you then.
Yeah.
I have started doing that, whereas before I was very much like, take it all on. And now I've been like, yeah, no, no, I don't care who, like, no.
You have to like, you have to set boundaries with yourself, with work and all those things, because it can become toxic where you're.
It's also, I think, like at the end of the day, there's this thing in our industry that is like, when I have employed you, you work for me at all points, 24/7 hours a day, until the point where it ends. And I'm like, well, no, you don't. No, have you bought my soul? No, but I think I used to have this attitude before this that, yes, they had bought me, they had paid like me to do a certain thing, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. But that doesn't mean that someone can ring me at 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night, and I was allowing that before. I was picking up that phone. And now I don't pick up the phone, and I'll still be me. I'll message them and say, look, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. That's a way better way of doing it. Cause,
I wouldn't have done that before though.
No, but this is what I mean about setting boundaries, because like if you don't, then people just do take the piss. You know what I mean? They take the piss, and then also they but also if you say like, yeah, just don't call me at this time, I'll call you in the morning. You're not going to do anything at 10:30 p.m. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
or as well as like I used to have people saying, oh, can I call you on Saturday? Couldn't I call you on Sunday? And recently, no, you can't. You can wait till Monday.
Yeah, can wait till Monday. Nice.
If it's that important, it can wait till Monday, because if you're ringing me on a Saturday, you're expecting me to do something about it on that Saturday. So without even talking to me yet, you're expecting my time to be here. No.
Yeah.
Life don't work like that.
No.
And also even down to like, I used to start working on things before people had like actually booked me in. No, till I see that 50%, till I see that contract, you don't get anything for me, which means you actually only get me for the time that you have paid me for. Whereas before I would have went above and beyond. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do a good job.
Oh, no, not at all.
It just means I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it equivalent to what the input is will be what the output is, with a little bit of sprinkling, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's part of growing up in this industry because like you said, it does feel, or it did feel like that anyway. Like whenever you sign like a job with a client, that they just have you 24/7.
Yeah.
Until.
I think they make it feel like that. They honestly do.
But they do. But I think it's our responsibility.
Exactly, to then put in that boundary.
To be like, nah, like you have me from this until then, and then that's it. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, for sure. It's just something difficult to do, and I think it's something. Honestly, I'm going to be very real and say it's very difficult as a female to just be like no, because any day of the week I've seen it, I've witnessed it. No is fine. When it comes out of an older dude's mouth. When it comes out of a young girl, she's being a bitch. She's being difficult. She's being hard to work with. She's being this. And I'm like, actually, I've done more for you than that other person would. And now I'm drawing the line. Now I'm saying no because it's been too much. You've taken the piss too much, you know. And I find things like that just in general that like, I feel like some women are scared to do it because the outcome will be, and you've got to kind of make peace with this. Some of the time it will be she's being a bitch. And I guess you just have to, in those instances, either be like, yeah, I'm being a bitch. What of it? I'm allowed. I'm entitled because I've done a lot. Or be like, actually, that's your opinion. That's not mine. I don't think of myself like that. So... You know, it's the same as like if someone calls you a prick, it's up to you to decide whether you are that and you'll take on board what they're saying or whether you're not that and leave it to the side. It's just boundaries in general, guys. Boundaries. Figure them out in relationships, in life, in leisure, and you will be good.
Yeah,
I feel like we could do some inspirational quotes.
Yeah, so definitely do some like YouTube shorts, just inspirational quotes. I completely agree. I think it's a good point because it's like people always put some sort of label on you if you're not
doing what they want.
Not doing what they want. Yeah.
Saying no.
And
some people as well, it's like some people, I guess, clients, everything, whatever, they're just so used to hearing yes that it takes someone to say no. And also sometimes you're saying no just as a reality check. No, you can't afford that.
Also, what I find is quite interesting is like the people that I know in this industry that are the most successful are the ones that know how to say no. Yeah, like they're the ones that like know how to like speak to clients and set those boundaries and be like, no, I'm not doing that or doing this. Or
definitely something I'm only learning. You know my career path, so it's only been like the past like 2 years I've been doing what I'm doing now,
which is directing. By
the way. So only in those past 2 years have I been even in the position where you are the one saying no. Before I've been a stylist or I've been an art director, which all you do all day long is give people what they want.
Yeah, of course.
That's your job and that's what you're there to do. Whereas a director is like, you're there to manage people's expectations. You're there to provide them with, if they say they want something and then it's too much, then you're going to provide them with like the alternative solution that is within budget. It's like limiting people. So I'm only very recently learning how to say no and I think for me it was more like how to say no without then feeling guilty.
Yeah. That's a very important part of it.
It's so hard because if you knew me like outside of work and stuff like that, especially with my friends, with like anyone who comes to me, even like a stranger on the street and they be looking for help, like I will try. It's an Irish thing. You will do your best for the people that surround you because that's what has been ingrained in you. And moving into London culture ain't like that. Not everyone's going to do that. And then also moving into our industry, it's big learning curve, and I'm still learning, and I'm learning with the support of like some very incredible women, honestly, that I have surrounded me that have been in that situations. I've had to ask other female directors, what do you do when someone actively calls you a bitch? How do you respond? Because you can't fly off the handle because then you confirm.
Yeah, no, of course.
You're the bit, even though like...
I know, it's...
How do you navigate someone walking past you and shaking your partner's hand who's a male as the director?
Yeah.
And then you having to poke your little head around to be like, actually, it's me. You know, how do you navigate that? How do you deal with that? How do you set in boundaries? How do you make it, I am the boss with, in accordance with my personality, not making it feel like I'm the bitch boss, because that's not me. I'm the boss that makes sure people doing good in what they need to do, and people have what they kind of need.
People are just not used to it, I think. Like people, especially in the older generation. I mean, you don't really see it too much in our sort of age group, but in the older age group, where people are just not used to seeing as many female directors, or not used to seeing as many just like, I guess, like
someone who looks different doing it.
Someone that just looks different doing it. So,
and I don't even claim to be. What's sad is I don't even think I look that different. It's just when you place me in a room like that, that's when I don't think, if you put me in the grand scheme of
you
London,
look pretty different. I'm not gonna let's be honest.
I don't feel like I do.
No, of course,
because of my friends, like my social sphere, and like how I don't feel. I'm like, this is normal. So then when I'm put in a room that actually is normal, quote unquote normal, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm an alien.
Literally, you're a little bit of an alien, but it's cool.
A little bit. We like aliens. So aliens are coming down, guys. I'm so seriously, if you don't think that this is all leading somewhere, I don't know what to tell you. I know we're going into dystopia, but what happens after dystopia? Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Every movie will tell you that that's what happens. So I feel like we're...
Oh, do you know, is it apocalypse first and then dystopia from what's left of it? Or
yeah, it depends on how fucked up we fuck up the world, really. Are we going to start listening to global warming and stuff? I'm not. My only advocacy is mental health before we get any further.
That's it. Do you are you quite are you a bit of a, I guess, like a nihilist, or a bit of a neggy in terms of like the future?
You know what? People are always like, is the glass half full or the glass half empty? I'm like, it was half full. Over years, it's been knocked so that like it's still half full. It's still described as half full, but like it's taken some knocks. I think that I don't even think that you could say that I'm a pessimist or I'm like very negative when it comes to the future. I think I'm being realistic, and I've always been like people will call it conspiracy theory, but I think it's seeing past what in actuality is being shown to us. Like from when I was like very young, like even in the news, I'd be like, this is bullshit. This is fabricated. This is what they have decided to direct towards you. What it actually is marketing. It's not news. It is they are marketing the avenue towards you that they want you to hear, and providing you with information so that you act a specific way. It's not freedom of speech and the news are not the goddamn same thing.
No, yeah.
And even if you want to look at, for example, like what, there's been so many, we're basically run by money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's just where I'll kind of leave it, because if you get me into that conversation, I will go for fucking ever on how fucked up and corrupt the system is and blah blah blah. I wouldn't even say I'm negative. I'd say I actually have the punk mentality, which is, this is all fucking bullshit. Let's create something that is ours, that we can share together, that has nothing to do with a system or an organization, and that's where I want to end up. I want to create a space eventually that does that. I'm just of the opinion
like a commune type of thing.
Like a place where people can go and feel comfortable. And it doesn't, and there will be no fucking huge corporate brands anywhere near that kind of space. It will be brands that like we choose to have or have similar values or whatever. But I think I just don't buy in to pretty much anything that's like fed to us, or what the future, or what we needed to do even during COVID or whatever. Like a lot of that was fucking bullshit. And even if you want to take it down to, okay, maybe it's not bullshit to some people, look at how they handled it. I come from the north of Ireland. I'm going to say the north of Ireland. Just because of my personal beliefs. But if you even look at that, we're a part of the UK, right? We were left to the last. Vaccines all came over here first. Masks, equipment, PPE, blah, blah, blah. but yet we pay our equal weighting in taxes, so we should get the same equal rights and access and blah blah blah, and you don't have that. And so if you're seeing that in a first world country, the UK,
Yeah, the UK, yeah.
the only other one in comparison is America. Apparently that's what they tell us anyway, in terms of free rights and free speech. We've got a lot to fucking work on, and I don't think that you can necessarily say that it's equal just even on the basis of literal numbers of fucking PPE equipment.
I'm stuff
In a global crisis, we're not even equal. So, and we're a first world country. So how do you expect when you go to other places and stuff like that? It ain't. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit that has been
I mean,
fabricated.
do you think in a because my personal belief is, I guess, that the playing field is never level, and it never will be. I just don't think it's
unless you completely, like, for me, and that's why I'm like anarchy punk mentality. The unfortunate thing about the punk mentality is very hard to implement unless everyone thinks the same, and no one's ever going to like
think the same. Yeah.
I'm not going to get every Tom, Dick, and Harry to agree with me on misogyny and fucking LGBT rights and trans rights, and I'm not going to get every person to agree with me. So until you completely like dismantle and eradicate systems, and I'm even talking about the education system, like why the fuck do I need to learn about Henry VIII? What's it got? Maybe learning about my taxes and how to open a business and what I need to pay and where I need to pay it and how to function in society.
Yeah.
Might have been more useful for me.
Yeah, a little more useful than Henry VIII for Aka. yeah, definitely. No, I agree. I mean, I do believe that education systems are like I do think a lot of it is good.
Oh yeah, I'm not negating that.
Yeah, it's
there's
just
same even if you look at the prison system. There's stuff that's good in it and there's stuff that's bad in it.
Of course, yeah. There's always again, like I don't think necessarily anything can be perfect in a sense, but yeah, I guess one thing with just generation is sort of the obsession of how self-conscious we've become as a society, where of course, we do want better. We do want better in every sort of aspect of society.
It's a self. And that's also due to what you're being fed by the media. It becomes a very, what's going on in my world? What's going on with me? And that's the only thing that people care about. Like a lot of people, will even say to me, they're like, you're so caring. I had some dancers on set the other day, and like just after every take they done full on breaking out, I was like to them, do you want some water? Do you need to sit down for a second? To me, that's just fucking normal.
Yeah.
That's just fucking care. Like, that's not even caring about another human being. That's just like, we are all floating particles in the wind, just like colliding off each other, like bouncing. Some bounce together, some collide and attach, some go off. We're all just particles, man. So let's like treat your fellow particle with the same.
Treat your fellow particle.
Treat your fellow particle with the same way that you want to be. Like as a particle, you don't want to be hit
bashed
down,
on,
bashed on every 5 seconds. You want to move through free at your own space and have the availability to kind of do that. And they said to me, they were like, no one has ever, and some of them have been working in this industry for 6 years, stopped us after every take and handed us a bottle of water. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. Well, that's fucked up because that's like, for me, that's just how you should be. But I guess that the world, and I only really noticed it when I moved to London. I didn't notice it so much before. I think that's just that everyone, like you said, is becoming... It's just insular is the word that I would describe it, because I don't think that every human is selfish inherently. You're not born with that. But I think that the world kind of forms you into that because it tells you you've got to work 5 days a week. And then those other 2 days a week, you got to recoup. To do that, you got to spend at least one of those days by yourself. And then the other one is social, but only socialize with the people that agree with you.
Yeah.
So, and then only have your phone attuned to things that agree with you. So where do you get conflict? Where do you get a change of an opinion?
It's really important because, like, especially with the internet and stuff, it really allows people to just like like hone in on their like bubble.
I call it the social media abyss. It's called the abyss for me because, again, good or bad to everything. But even like influencers in general, like who, and I'm talking about influential people, like
Actual influence.
actual influential
yeah.
people who are like ecologists or something like that, who have a message to say, whether it's about mental health, sex work, blah blah blah, whatever your shit is, you got something actual to say. Even in that, they're only speaking to people that agree with them. And when they encounter people who do not agree with them, they ask their audience that agrees with them to help them out on the comment section. It's like, oh, well, you're not really...
Yeah.
Through debate and conflict is where change comes. And I think that people, because of how the world's being constructed, they form in their own bubble of people that just simply agree with them. So it's like...
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it is difficult bringing people together that don't agree with each other because it's way less of a nice environment for people to be in. Because of course, it makes sense why. Yeah. Oh, I mean, me personally, I way prefer being around people that.
Of course, it's
natural.
It's
so,
nature,
but yeah, 100%.
I'm a victim of doing the same thing, you know, and even times where I have come into conflict with people, there has been times where I've just like given up. I've been like, you know what?
CBA.
Yeah, you can't be asked.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, also like you can't have every conflict, you know. Not every.
Pick your battles.
Yeah, you gotta pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
And yeah, it is hard because on YouTube, for example, it's like, oh yeah, like when you have like influencers and whatever, you can quite often, you know, like you find something when you're looking for it. But then I guess quite often when you're looking for it, you sort of already know what that opinion is anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's like it's you know, and then maybe this does make me a nihilist. Like maybe it does, but sometimes even when I go to like panel talks and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I know. I already agree with you.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
I'm not learning anything. No, I'm not opening up my mind so much. I'm hearing what I think being regurgitated back to me, which in one way, positive, affirmation of the type of person that you are, value in what you're saying, a common community, all those things, yes. But my thing is there's always too much of a good thing. If you forever surround yourself in just that circle, then you'll never kind of develop. Because although it fucking pisses me off, sorry, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Too late anyway. It really annoys me, you know, when things like that happen to me as a female director. But does it give me fire up my fucking belly to be like, ain't no one gonna do that again? Yeah, because it was conflict. Maybe in that one, the first one, I don't deal with it so well, right? So I act out, and so I kind of confirm their opinion of me. And then the next one, I've learned a little bit from that conflict. It wasn't nice, no, but I've learned better how to handle myself, and also better how to not let it affect me if I do receive conflict from it. And that can be the same in everything that every kind of subject or topic or area. It's basically like when the person on the bus is being harassed, are you going to stand up? Or are you going to sit down and look away? I'm stand up. I've done it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sit down and look away. And there are plenty of people in this world that are sit down and look away. And the problem becomes when all of us are sit down and look away because it's easier.
Yeah.
That becomes a problem because then our industry even continues to be like it is.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Because no one's changing it. Because no one's stepping in and saying that's not acceptable. I said to even those dancers on set, I was like, well, that's completely unacceptable. And see, the next time that happens, you go up and you say, I'm not dancing until I have a bottle of water, because to me that's like a standard.
No, 100%. Yeah. With stuff like that, yeah, agree. It's definitely. I mean, so obviously it's way easier to like not stand up and.
Of course.
I mean, like, I guess like a good example of that was, this whole Will Smith thing was so funny. And like, obviously he goes up.
I low-key feel sorry for the man.
Oh no, I do. I do feel sorry for him. But I mean, I feel sorry for him, but I don't really excuse his actions. But I mean, the whole thing about when he got the Oscar and then everyone got and gave him a standing ovation. It's like, that's just like, okay, well, is no one just gonna like?
Oh, we're just gonna celebrate this.
Yeah.
Well, see, at the end of the day, if you look into it, guess who the sponsors? See, guess who the sponsors of the Oscars are? Pfizer. Ratings went up. Money went up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's just even in your social media base, because we all know the story. There you go. There's a perfect example, actually. We all know the story of Will Smith, Chris Rock. He slapped him. Big controversy. We know about Jada's alopecia, blah, blah, blah. Did you know that Pfizer are the sponsors of those award shows, and that from the ratings going up, money went in their pocket? So maybe this was all... There is the potential that a lot of this has been constructed in order to boost ratings, to have money go up, because at the end of the day, Will Smith and Chris Rock are friends, have been friends for a very long time. So is it either... Because then for what makes sense for me is that either if you watch the video as well, it's like Jada's not that nice to him at the end of the day. Let's be real. She's not been faithful to him, and she said that was because as a man he should have known she was cheating. If that doesn't sound like a narcissist or an abuser, I don't know what, as a gaslighter, because that's what that sounds like to me. And then the guy's sitting there, literally all eyes on him. The world's eyes on him, with his wife looking at him in disapproval. So he's caught in a catch-22.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's his friend or his wife on a global award show. And what are you meant to do in that situation? I don't condone what he did, obviously. But at the same time, what is he supposed to do? Because if he had just sat there, who's to say that wouldn't have been happening to him that night in his own home?
Yeah.
It's just looking beyond it. And then also with the sponsors of the show being who they are, it's like just everyone just like switch on, just like have those antennas up like a little bit more to just kind of clock why things are happening, what's going on. Even in relation to COVID, let's look at how many government bills were passed underneath that, including the latest conversion therapy is banned, but they took it back in relation to trans rights. They do that all under distraction. They wait until some big event happens and then they start doing
What's this latest bill?
So the latest bill is that...
Is this in the UK or...?
This is in the UK. Finally, gay conversion therapy has been banned. Finally, only doing it now. And if anyone doesn't know what conversion therapy is, it's basically typically a Christian practice where you're basically eradicating someone from being gay. Because it is a choice, not a
right.
innate sexuality or any gender identity or anything like that. So it's basically, it only became illegal to forcibly do that. So like some of the conversion therapies would have been like electric shock therapy. So I've had that done for medical reasons, and I can tell you that shit is not fucking fun. Like it's very painful, and it's very like actually disorientating. So I understand how they think it works.
Yeah, of course.
Because your mind is very muddled. Yeah, you're basically like that afterwards. You're like, whoa, my body got shocked because it did.
Yeah.
But what they did is it was going through for the LGBT community across every spectrum. And what they did is they allowed it to be passed by the public. The public passed it. And then what they did is in relation to the trans rights, they revoked it. And they've done the same like in relation to the bathroom bill. I don't know if anyone heard about that over COVID. So again, same thing. There was going to be a bill passed that transgender people are allowed to use whatever bathroom that they see fit in relation to their gender identity, whether that moves on a spectrum throughout the day or whatever the fuck. However the fuck you feel, it's a bathroom. It's got cubicles. Who cares? They revoked it. And the public didn't know anything about it. And they used a distraction. They consistently use distractions in order to do that. And what happens is because you're insular, you care about how your life's been affected. So take it down to something that's affecting everyone, even the bills as of late. The bills going up by 50%.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
Who's not paying theirs? I'm pretty sure if some people paid a little bit more into their tax fund, none of this would be happening.
Yeah.
And it's just like we can't do anything about it. Unfortunately, like I said, the punk mentality is very hard to make people come together. But what I can do maybe with the spaces that I'm in and I'm able to is spark a thought. Usually after having a conversation with me, people are like, oh, I didn't think about that before. I'm like, okay, good enough. If we can do that, because people do that for me, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, okay, didn't think about that. Like, as long as you're still entering into conversations that are doing that for you, I guess, like you said, not everyone's going to change. You're not going to be able to bring everyone, and you're not going to be able to fight every battle. So if you can fight some and do it in a way that's not alienating, like you don't alienate Tom, Dick, and Harry by doing it, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with these bills, I guess. So I'm just intrigued. So with the bathroom one, yeah. So what was the one that you like named like 3 bills? So it was the bathroom one.
The bathroom bill is just it's not actually called that. It's just people kind of started to call it. It was essentially that basically you would not have to use the bathroom that is the gender that you've been assigned at birth. If you go into a public space, it's like it was illegal for you to use a bathroom that is not the gender that you were assigned at birth, despite what you choose to identify as. And people passed the bill, essentially the public passed the bill. It was put through Commons that essentially it was either put through Commons to be brought to the public and was stopped before that. I'm not sure exactly on the details. Or it was that it went through the public and then was stopped afterwards. One or the other. Either way, bitches in Parliament stopped it. But it was that, yeah, you're allowed to use whatever bathroom that you choose to see fit, you know. And they basically revoked that entirely. So that means that many, many, many people of the LGBT community who are not comfortable are unsafe using the bathroom that is associated with the gender that they were assigned on birth have to do that. They have to actively put themselves in unsafe positions. Obviously, there'll be plenty of times where a public space will not mind that, but legally, they are allowed to mind that. They are allowed to legally have a problem with that, and that's a huge issue because it puts a lot of vulnerable people at more risk.
I guess, I mean, just to just play devil's advocate on this point in particular, the one, I guess, again, like, because there's like pros and cons with everything, but with this one in particular, the only sort of thing that stems to my head is like, okay, say, because the way I see female bathrooms, kind of like a safe space where like women want to go when they want to hide away from the men in bars and clubs and whatever.
I don't even know if it's. Can I be real honest? Okay, because this is going to sound bad. It's not that we find it a safe space. It's not that we need to hide from men. It is a space where we are freely allowed to express our femininity without being conscious of judgmental eyes. Yeah. So it's not necessarily like if a dude was pissing beside me, I've been in festivals where it's unisex, but I don't give a fly. Like, I don't care. Like, if a dude wants to fix his makeup in the bathroom, I don't care. Like, it's just, I guess that it's the, the sad thing is that something unsafe can happen to a woman at any point, anywhere.
No, of course. Yeah.
So I don't have a problem I don't have any problem whatsoever with a trans female using my bathroom because they're not the ones that I am worried about. No. Walking down the street, they're not the ones I'm worried about. I haven't ever encountered anyone who's made me feel uncomfortable. Now, have I encountered plenty of men? Straight men?
No, of course, yeah. But I guess the point I was trying to make is that those people that you are I guess like worried about, they're the ones that will sort of abuse this.
Sorry.
That's right. I guess they if they're not legally allowed to enter like a female bathroom, they know that stops them from going in there. But if they know that legally they are allowed, they can sort of abuse that power.
So
that's the only,
of course.
Yeah.
And you know whose problem that is? Men's.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I guess I kind of, when it comes to like playing devil's advocate, you know, when people kind of, because I've had many conversations with my male fans where they're like, let me play devil. And I'm like, well, honestly, still everything that you're saying is not women's problem.
Yeah.
It's still men's problem. Like, then don't do that. You know, there's all these things that is like, let's avoid women getting raped by them doing this and wearing this and holding this and carrying this. And when someone approaches them saying, how about y'all just don't fucking do it?
I mean, yeah, ideally, that's the whole thing.
That would be great. Yeah. And then that comes from education. And again, that ain't women's problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for us. So if that the problem right now is that women are unsafe. And I say women, and I'm referring to trans females, but women are unsafe.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So let's get women safe. Okay? The way to do that is allow them into this bathroom so that they are in a safe environment. Now, that's a separate issue from then if people go into a woman's bathroom looking to cause trouble. That's a completely different topic. Like, that could happen even if it's, you know, that could happen on any circuit. Even if it is illegal, that could still happen. Yeah,
it can. Yeah.
So it's you know, it's almost like, I think it's like trying.
I guess it's like a fence, right? A fence is like, it's not there to necessarily like stop people going over, because you can always jump over a fence, but it will stop most people going on the other side of the fence. You know what I mean? I guess that's the only thing that the way I see this law. You know what I mean?
I see it's like that there's hypothetically, like, there's a wall, there's a door in the wall, and across it, just be aware, it's a wall. You're in a space that is not yours. It's the same way when white people enter into a POC space. It is not that you're not welcome. Just be aware of how much space you're taking up. Be aware that you're not in your environment. This is an environment that has been specifically created for this type of person. It's just consciousness. You just fucking like start fucking switching on. It's like, even like, I had some fucking guy the other day. I went into cinema. I was in a bad mood. Yeah, I'll have a face on myself if I fucking want to. He was an older man. And like, my boyfriend's becoming very aware of just like these little fucking microaggressions that women receive on a daily basis. And he was like, why don't you smile? You've got such a beautiful smile. I was like, I literally went to him. I was like, I'll decide when and where and who I want to smile at. And that's not for anyone else to decide for me. But talk to me 2 years ago. Me, how do you fuck the... No, I don't have time for it anymore. Yeah. It's his problem to fix. It's his problem to fix. It's his viewpoint. He needs to change. But then you're entering into thing. I'm not entering conflict.
No, it's just, I guess
it's all a bit of a like.
No, I guess well, it's not even entry, but then you have to pick and choose your battles, because that's not really like it's not really a battle worth fighting. I
ain't gonna win it with a 50-year-old white guy. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. Who works in the cinema? It's like, I know I'm not gonna be able to.
Yeah.
In that split second, in those 5 seconds where I have the opportunity to talk to you, I am not going to change your opinion. You're going to just think, she was rude.
Yeah.
That's literally what you're going to think.
And also, it's like what you said earlier about like, if someone calls you a prick, it's up to you if you decide if you want to take that on, or if you just want to like, okay, cool, like fuck off.
And what helps is then that you have other men like yourself, like my partner, that would be like, you okay? What he did was just not okay there. Or he basically, when it happened at the time, he stepped in and just basically, he said, yeah, that was my fault. I wasn't able to make her happy today, to try and like deflect some of it being like, it's my fault and I have an obligation to smile. He like affirmed that She doesn't have to smile. Because I didn't mean I made her unhappy today. So she's allowed to feel what the fuck she wants to feel.
Yeah.
So it's about, I guess it's about, like, I love men. I don't want to come across as like a lot of my friends. Actually, I've had more friends who are guys, and people are close in my life that are guys. And maybe that's why I understand it like quite a lot, because I've had them ask me difficult, offensive questions. But I'd rather they ask me the questions so that they know, because I have seen their then behaviors change in certain circumstances. Like I have seen, you know, when I'm being ignored, the men that I have like surrounded me, when I'm being ignored in a conversation on set or whatever, or people are talking over me, I have had the men that I have close to me on either side be like, Roisin was making a decision there, or could you listen to her, or I understand that you're doing that, but there's no point in you doing that until you've spoken to Roisin, because she's going to be the ultimate one making the decision. And I think it's about like that kind of sense of mentality. It's like, say you see a guy catcalling a woman, you don't even need to step in if this isn't you, because a lot of men feel like we're asking them to then go up to the guy and be like, nah. No, what we're doing is recognize that wasn't okay, that wasn't acceptable. What happened to that woman is not what was not acceptable. She now feels vulnerable. Be the person that walks up to her and makes her remember in that moment that not all men are like that. Don't walk past, because you just confirm men are like that, because you ain't going to help. So she's very in danger. You're not going to help. Don't also be the guy that maybe makes it worse by being like, rah, 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 because that could reflect worse on the woman. That's why women usually don't say anything when that's happening, because they're scared of the impacts of things.
Yeah. You don't want to just like
make it worse.
Yeah, make it worse.
Worse.
You have to like
But there's nothing in that instance that would prevent you from tentatively walking up to that woman. Tentatively, yes, because she's just had a triggering experience happen. And kind of saying, look, what he just did there was unacceptable. No matter what was happening, you didn't deserve that. Are you all right? That's again common human decency. Seems to be lacking in London. Because I can tell you, if that was happening in Ireland, you would have about 6 people turn around and be like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, we're just more that type of people, I guess.
I think it comes down to just like, I've had a couple of these conversations before where it's, I guess you can compare it to Ireland, and I can compare it back to Bulgaria, where it's like in Ireland, most people are Irish, and in Bulgaria, most people are Bulgarian, and here everyone's just from fucking everywhere. And there's kind of like, I guess there's like a human, I don't know, instinct or what it is, but of
your tribe.
Yeah, you don't care as much about other people as you do as your own. You know what I mean? I think that's just like a human thing, where when there's just too many people around you, you sort of like, you just stop caring, because it is too much to care about.
Do you know what I call them? This is awful. The basic biscuits.
The basic biscuits.
Like the basic, you know, the way in like a variety pack of biscuits. Like you got your ones with the shiny foil on.
Yeah.
Those are my type of people. Yeah. Shiny foil people are my type of people, right? And then you got other people that's like, they got a little something, little filling on the inside. And then you got your basic biscuits. You got your shortbread. You got your it is what it is, digestive, function in society, help us through. The biscuit tin would not be the biscuit tin without the digestive. Do you eat it first? No. Depending on the type of person you are. Some people go for the digestive first because they're health conscious and they're blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? But that's what I kind of mean. It's like when, you're not going to care so much. But how do we get that care? Because people should. Even if you're shiny foil, you need to care about the basic biscuit. Or at least be nice. You don't have to care about them, but be nice.
I think it's different. Yeah, I mean, being nice and caring. I don't know.
Why do you, as coming from Bulgaria, you've been here a lot longer than I
Yeah.
have. Why? You know what I'm talking about. Because every person I speak to of an ethnic minority is of the same kind of, what is that about here? There's just a general lack of, I don't care about anything other than myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I generally think people just care more about their own people, you know,
Yeah.
like naturally, you know, whether that's obviously, you know, your friends and family, obviously, but then people that just generally just look like you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it comes, because
It feels
for
like
the
home, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also for the longest time, all we've ever known
And
is
it's
just
tribes.
just people that look exactly like us, and we're
Yeah.
naturally more caring towards
Yeah.
those people. And whenever there's someone else, it's like, oh, he's an outsider. He's not part of what I'm part of, type of thing.
I think maybe I have a slightly different sensibility on it because like growing up in Ireland, like not really gonna fit in there either, you know. With the way I talk as well, I came from a very, very Catholic area. I still got Jesus outside my door with some like holy water, and I know that's the same in a lot of homes. But if you ever been to like Ireland, it's like it's your culture, your religion, your political beliefs are entirely intertwined. They're one and the same. Your name indicates your religion and your political beliefs.
Yeah.
I am very clearly an Irish name. I am therefore Catholic. Therefore, my political beliefs are in relation to a united Ireland. That's not true entirely.
Yeah.
But it's that idea that I would be that. So I maybe never felt so like these are my people. Because the people I was surrounded by were a little bit homophobic.
Yeah.
A little bit, you know, a little bit extremist when it becomes their political. I didn't fit in there. So then when I moved to London and I was like, you have this opportunity for all these different types of people from all different walks of life who think the same to come together.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the more important thing.
Yeah.
But I found that, like you said, I think it's innate in people's nature to care more about their kind of, you know, tribe and to be exclusionary. But I think I just come from a different sensibility where how you think is a much more defining factor than what you look like, where you're from, your social class, your blah, blah, blah. Because even, you know, put it this way, like I'm definitely of a working class everything. You can hear it in the way that I move. And my now partner is definitely not freaking working class. But if he had the mentality of someone who was more upper class, we would not get along. We would not be together. It's how he thinks. And he stepped outside his own social circles. He's Jewish. Definitely not a Jewish girl. Do you know what I mean? Like he stepped outside that, which in his culture is extremely important based on historical factors that they keep within the for bloodline. Simple as that, for bloodline, because eventually there won't be any Jewish people left if they don't do that. So I think it's just like your mentality, but then also be aware that you don't completely constrict yourself to people that only think about you. You need a little bit of conflict in your life. Someone said to me to follow one account per month that you would never follow on Instagram. One that doesn't align with like what you think or isn't in complete cohesion with what your ideals are. There's some thought-provoking things. There's some things you agree with, some things that you disagree with. And that will help you kind of a mentality shift. Because I think that what it will also happen is that when people do come into conflict, they'll be more likely to just be dismissive and be like, I'm not dealing with this, rather than talk and have a conversation. And maybe you don't come to a meeting of the minds, but at least something will be discussed instead of everyone just being your yes man all day, every day.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess also there's like nowadays it's kind of also become a bit more complicated because I guess with stuff like getting cancelled and like whatever.
Cancelled, yeah.
It's like you can like
it?
mention a name, and then as soon as you mention that name, then people automatically think you're somehow aligned with certain political views. Like like for example, like in recent times, you know, if you mention like Joe Rogan to someone, then automatically they somehow think like obviously because there was that whole racist thing recently, then you get associated with that with those labels as well. So yeah, I do think those discussions are sort of becoming harder to have because then people don't.
I mean, you have no idea the amount of times that I've been called a feminist, whatever the fuck. And I'm like, that's not even my beliefs. I'm an egalitarian. If you really want to talk,
I don't know what that is. What's that?
Equal. All egalitarian means I couldn't care whether you're whatever the fuck you are. You work like me, you do like me, cool, we'll bop along. But if not, then you know, like just that everyone's equal, like no matter what gender, race, sexuality, anything. And I don't think that feminism, as it is now, actually advocates for that.
Cancelled. You're cancelled.
I know, but I would be cancelled for that. Imagine I was actually like, do you know what I mean? But if I was like a woman that was like, you know what I mean, very much in the public eye, I'm going to get cancelled for saying I'm not a feminist without anyone waiting to hear.
What are you actually advocating for?
I'm actually advocating for, because I agree with first wave feminism, second wave feminism, third wave feminism, not so much. Because first and second were about equal rights. Third wave feminism is more so about men hating. I don't hate men. It's more so about creating an exclusion than creating inclusion. Third wave feminism for me isn't as inclusive as it needs to be. It doesn't consider disabled women. It doesn't consider trans women. You know, it doesn't consider all the variables of what femininity looks like in this space and scope. And, you know, says you should work in an all-female environment. I got plenty of men who I love that give me great ideas on a fucking general basis and respect me and, you know, egalitarian, therefore, is what I believe. But I'd be cancelled before we get...
Before you have you can get it out. Yeah, I mean... I don't know how you get around that as well. I mean, I guess the only way you can...
Don't be famous.
Like, or like, do things like this where you can just like actually just speak your mind out and and then if someone tries to like, hey, like...
Maybe that's why Kanye loved a podcast. To be honest, maybe that's why he loved that, because he could get out what he was actually thinking rather than what people were.
Did you watch the documentary, Genius?
I don't know if I watched the last one. I have this thing where like if I've watched something, my attention span like goes after like a little while. But no, I watched the majority of it. I think he needed help after his mum died.
Oh yeah. I think that was pretty.
He needed a lot more mental health guidance than he actually got, especially, you know, if you're dealing with bipolar as someone. Well, apparently I have BPD, but we'll see what's going on with that. But like someone who has bipolar needs consistent, consecutive care, and it's got to be. Then do you know what they have to have? A stable environment.
Yeah, and that's not what he had.
No way on earth he had that.
No.
No way on earth he had that. And that's really, really sad, because at the end of the day, anyone going through like mental health struggles just needs a stable base. I ain't excusing what he's done to Kim as of late, because what that is it's abusive across the media.
No, again, it's an explanation. It's not an excuse. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think the explanation needs to be understood by the masses, because then I think they would view, even when he does some shit like he says something wild, bipolar talking, not Kanye, bipolar talking, because that's actually what's happening. And I don't think people are even right. Everyone's just like, that's Kanye, that's the way he is. No, some of those times when he's doing that, he's having a bipolar episode when that is happening. It's not he's just going off the rails or blah blah blah. I don't condone his behavior, but I know that it's a result of
bipolar. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
not a result of like him. And I'm not saying, I don't think he does anything to help himself. You know, I think he enters into a lot of it himself. But everyone, especially if you're just in that kind of high pressure, high stress environment, like needs a little support that is real, that is authentic, that has their best interests at heart.
I think it's particularly hard, especially in a situation like him, because obviously everyone around him is sort of one way or another. He's sort of like the moneymaker, right? So everyone sort of has to answer to him, and like I think that can become quite difficult because.
And I think honestly, what happened for him, Kim didn't need that. And when they started to enter together, because at the end of the day, whether you like them or not, whether you like the Kardashians or fucking not, they're fucking great businesswomen.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They got their stacks. Kim, that family did not need anything of Kanye's. Kanye needed some of theirs, to be honest. With the debt he was in a crazy amount of debt. Crazy amount of debt. I'm not saying that he took any of their money, but it was definitely, maybe he finally got with a woman, because if you look at all the women he was with previously, they all were lower earning income. Maybe he finally got with a woman that didn't really need everything that Kanye is, and Kanye this and Kanye that. Doesn't really give a fuck, because she got her own shit. She got her own business. She got a family who have billions of dollars themselves. Like, she actually didn't need it. And I'm not saying that they didn't love each other, but I think as time went on, he basically wanted her maybe to depend on him more than she did. And then when she didn't, think Kanye was the center of her world.
Yeah.
Because that's what bipolar will do. Bipolar makes you feel like everything is revolving around you, and when someone is in conflict to what you're thinking, it breaks your spell almost. Like, and it's the same with BPD. It's like it's very nuanced, very complicated mental health. I never know what to say, because disease is the wrong word, issue is the wrong word, and problems are the wrong word for me. It's a mental health thing.
Let me fix this. My alarm goes off randomly. I've got a clock. Honestly, it just goes sometimes. Yeah, like it has its mind of its own. There we go. What's the time?
No, I still got time. I got like 20 minutes. Sorry.
Cool, perfect. Cool.
I just had a missed call from Royal Mail.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like he didn't get the help he needed. Sad.
No, it is. I mean, I absolutely love the documentary though. I think it was super well done. But yeah,
for sure.
But Kanye's just he's.
What I don't understand is how he hasn't been cancelled yet. Like, to be honest, like,
I mean, I don't know. It's just he's just.
I think it's. Do you know what it is for me? Can I be real as well? Even though, let's look at Britney Spears versus Kanye. For real, look at how when it happened to a woman, what happened, and then look what happened when it happened to
I didn't follow Britney's too much, honestly.
Britney, and I think it was that era of like early 2000s paparazzi and what they were doing at that time, but they drove her to psychosis, 100%. They basically just hounded her, didn't leave her alone, no boundaries, blah blah blah. She was screaming, crying, asking them to stop taking photos, not listening, blah blah blah. You know, it's very invasive. And then as a woman, you're then gonna be, you know, I ain't ever heard about Kanye's jaw, and that shit is fucked up. It looks fucked up, like, but you don't hear anyone talk about it past the accident or whatever. But I think even in relation to that, if a woman was acting wild the way he was, like, reverse the situation, say that was Kim Kardashian doing that, she would be gone. There would be no love left for her. But he gets a full 3-episode documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Put out at exactly the right time as well. It's like he was waiting on that a little bit. I think the documentary is beautiful.
The guy that made it is fascinating.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And the fact that he dedicated 20 years of his life. But I think it's like, even if you listen to him in the documentary, he notes that Kanye is a different person to the person that he knew.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
the dividends were incredible as well. Got £750,000 a year over the 20 years. So you got something like you got millions, but when you break it down over the year, he was getting paid technically £750,000 a year for documentary. The filmmaker.
Guy. Oh yeah.
The filmmaker.
Yeah, sick. I mean,
and incredible to see anyway.
Bipolar is scary. It can really it can make you do things that
it's like that and BPD are the most demonized mental health, you know. Everyone wants to talk about mental health until it comes to mental health issues, and I will say that for everyone's like well-being, meditate, yoga. We've all got to take care of ourselves. Drink your 3 liters of water a day.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're socializing. But when it comes to it, when it comes to the actual reality of dealing with when you've got these, let's be real. That's hundreds of hours at a psychologist. That's mental breakdowns. That's complete episodes where you're flipping the fuck out. Like, no one really wants to deal with them. The reality of what mental health issues actually mean and how they impact people who have them on like a day to
and the people around them as well.
And the people around them. And the people that they have very close relationships with. Like, especially those that they have close relationships with, because that's someone seeing you go through something that they can't help and they can't fix.
And also, like, whenever you're going through episodes, you can really hurt people around you.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Yeah, big time.
You know, I'm victim of having done that. You know, maybe in the past more so, I've got more of a much bigger handle on my mental health now. But when I was younger, you know, I'm a crazy bitch, and I will say it. Like, I am a crazy fucking, like, I will be so fucking nice to you and to everyone. Until you piss me off.
Until the horns come out.
Yeah. And then it's like, but what used to happen, it literally used to be like that. Like, my mum, like, she would say it to me. It was like the horns started to grow. And then it would be like the devil was unleashed. And I would say and do really just self-destructive and hurtful things to other people as well. And as I grew up, I kind of just realized more that I was doing that. I'm still even doing that now, like having just moved in with someone for the first time. You know, my natural sensibility is like, when shit pisses me off, is to throw something at a wall or to like fucking like break something. Like, that is my personality. But I can't do that now. Like, I've got to find a different way of releasing anger or releasing frustration, because
you need to get like a punching bag.
Yeah. Well, I used to do jiu-jitsu. I used to do martial arts. So like I have this innate, like, I need to.
Yeah. That inner aggression used to come out.
So much aggression for such a tiny person. I'm like so angry inside. But it's, that's the thing. But if, for example, if you don't have a partner or you don't have a family who recognize in those moments where you said that or did that it's not you, then you feel really fucking alone. And I can't imagine what that would be like to then have the entire, like,
world.
Literally world.
Yeah.
So even if we're rolling back to the Will Smith, I don't think it's talked enough about for men, because it's just fucking not. It's just simply not. Roll back to him, it's like the whole world's watching him. What is he like?
Oh,
you know? And he's got his own shit to deal with. Like, his wife cheated on him for years whilst he had kids. Ain't no one helping Will Smith right now either.
Situationships on
situationships, but
yeah, I mean, well, I just sometimes it does fascinate me how obsessed society gets with celebrities.
I know
it is.
It's always made me laugh, especially in what we work with, because I have had instances where, like, because someone has a number attached to their name, like why aren't you doing this for like less or doing this for me? And I'm like, I literally could not give a flying fuck who you are, where you come from, and what numbers you got. It's not matter to me.
Yeah.
Are you a good person? Are you nice? I'll work with you again.
Sweet. There you go.
If not, I literally could not care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Everything's got a price.
Everything has a price. But I have turned down big ass shit because I'm like, no, I just don't want to. I just don't want to. you know, I don't want to deal with that. And I don't want to talk to those type of people.
Avoiding the
conflict, though.
That's fine. It's fine. Again, we got
Pick your battles.
That's fine.
Pick your battles.
Anyway, I think we had a good convo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you want to end it on?
No. Other than like actually take care of yourself. None of this bullshit well-being shit. Take good fucking care of yourself, mental, body, and the things that you surround yourself, and allow a little bit of conflict into your life. A little bit of conflict usually ends up in a better resolve.
I agree. Sweet. Thank you very much. And yeah, all the best in getting healthier, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.